Thor, Captain America, Spider-Man. These are all familiar to us with the latest influx of superhero movies. Otherwise, these superheroes are usually limited to children with comic books and toys. But there are some who grow up with all these rather than grow out of them. We take a look at one such person who keeps his inner child intact even at the age of 19. Meet Joms Robles, an avid comic book and action figure collector. Let's just find out what it is about these superheroes beyond capes and masks.
I was a little kid, like around 5 years old or stuff. During the 90s, comic books were doing really well, and comic books like Batman and X-Men were really they're like the mainstays in pop culture back then. So everyone was into it, and they had cartoons and they had comic books and other merchandise that like focused on children, and not only children, teenagers also, and young adults. My friends back then, we were all into it, but then as time grew on and they grew older, they all outgrew it, and I was the only one who was left. And I don't really know why exactly, but I think it's because like I really enjoyed it and I didn't want to let it go. It may seem childish to other people or something that only for children, but for me it's not only for children, because it's mature also, and has things that young adults and even older adults can enjoy. And I'm sure when I grow older, I'm still going to be able to appreciate everything about comic books. Don't really have a favorite character, but I have a couple. I have a strong affinity to Batman because he was the first comic book character that I loved, because of mainly his cartoon series in the 90s. It was the best. And I was so into it, and that's why I have such a strong affinity to Batman. But the thing is, I don't really like DC Comics because it's just Batman there, so I'm more into Marvel. And ever since I was a kid, I was really attracted to characters like Spider-Man, because he was a character that appealed to younger audiences. But now, as I grew older, I'm more into the X-Men. And back then when I was a kid, my favorite was Gambit. But then right now I'm looking at good characters like Deadpool also, and since the Avengers movie is coming out, I'm starting to like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Hawkeye even more. Drawing I do a lot of. Until now I like sketching comic book superheroes or anything. Like I love drawing. It's like a talent that I have, but not really something that I can do when I work or something. It's just a nice hobby, and I love drawing comic books. Like I used to draw when I was a kid, like my own panels and my own stories. But writing, not so much, because with writing comic books, it's really a really creative thing, and to have a story that can immerse the reader into the panels is something like a God-given talent, and I just don't have that. So I'm just gonna stick to drawing. It's really going to go digital in the future. Like for me, for example, I use my iPad now for reading comics. I just download the comics online, and then I transfer them to my iPad and I just read it there. And while it may not have the same feel with a comic book, having it in your hand like this one, it's like, it's nice, you collect it, you put it in a nice case, and then you read it, you're collecting it, you can show it off to people. But then it's not practical anymore. You're wasting paper with this, and you could just think about how much you can save when you put digital comics in your iPad. It's like you carry around your whole collection in your bag, and it's much more easy. It's easier that way.
Comic books are one thing, but action figures are another. These childhood mementos have become quite an obsession. How have these figures become more than just playthings?
How many action figures I have all in all? That is not possible to count. I've been collecting action figures since I was a kid. Back then when I was a child, with the comics and the start of comic books, of course as a kid you'd buy toys, right? And while other people would be buying cars and Barbies, I don't buy Barbies, and stuff like that, I'd be collecting action figures. And I think it just started from there, and my collection still stands the same, and it's been growing ever since also. I just never really grew out of it either, and I guess it's just not possible to count how many I have. I know comic books is often related to being childish, and action figures even more so of that fact. But there are just some people who enjoy collecting action figures, and I'm just one of those people. It's great to have in your collection, just displayed there, and I guess it's like a physical manifestation of characters in the comic books, and it's just nice as a comic book fan to have your own figures there in your collection. I don't really have a favorite figure. It really depends on two things. Either it's valuable or it's a favorite character of mine. I have good favorites like Captain America and Spider-Man over here, and Deadpool, Hawkeye, Wolverine, and Magneto. And figures like Captain America are really expensive. Deadpool I already mentioned. This Spider-Man actually goes for $300 online, but I got it for really cheap, so don't worry, I didn't use that money on that. And sometimes it just really depends on the character and then the figure too. It just really depends. The thing is about comic books, it's not for everyone. That's for sure. I'm sure that 1 out of about 20 people love comic books. Some may like it, but not like me. I love it. I love comic books. They're different. I've loved them since I was a kid, and I never grew out of them. And I still love them whether it comes to comic books, figures, movies, or TV shows, or collectibles. I'm into it, and it just has the different sort of magic to it. Some people love sports, and some people love gaming or computer games. And while I do like those things too, I have a life. I love comic books, and it's just some part of me that I'm proud to say, and I'm not ashamed of. That's because everyone's different in their own way. And while I may not be the same with many people out there, I know that what I love is something unique and something great and something brilliant, and I'm sure it's still gonna be amazing in the future. And I will always love these comic books until the day I die.
For many of us, growing up means shedding the things we enjoyed as a child. As we mature, we lose that sense of marvel and excitement in our everyday lives. For instance, when was the last time you were really passionate about something? Perhaps we can learn from this comic book enthusiast's experience. Even if reality makes us jaded about our hopes and dreams, we should always remember that we can find true happiness by pursuing something we love.